You are now listening to Talk Your Jits podcast.
And welcome back to the Talk Your Jits podcast. This podcast is, as the name implies, all about Jiu Jitsu. I am your host, Lamar Smith, and today's guest is a third degree black belt who trains at Jiu Jitsu 100 Academy located in Haley, Idaho. Ladies and gentlemen, Joel Bouhey.
Having me, Lamar.
Oh man, the pleasure is all mine, sir. But yeah, like I said earlier, I thank you again for coming on the show and blessing us with your journey of jiu-jitsu, of the sport that we love so much.
Yeah, I like doing these podcasts. It's cool. They're starting to kind of pop up more and more,
All right, well, let's without further ado, if you want to go ahead and formally introduce yourself again, by all means, and let's hear about your jiu-jitsu journey.
Yeah, my name is Joel Bouhey. I'm a third degree black belt under Luis Heredia. And I've been training in Hawaii for the last 15, 16 years, up until about 2 years ago. My wife and I moved to Haley, Idaho, a small little town in the mountains, like 6,000 feet up, a little like snow resort type of town.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was just telling Lamar before the podcast started, we knew this town had no jiu-jitsu. So it was kind of a cool move going from Hawaii is very, jiu-jitsu is very popular. And so it's a very big thing. Everybody knows what it is. Everybody watches all the fights and all that stuff. And it was kind of interesting to come here and explain it to a bunch of people that really had no idea about the Gracies or any of that stuff. And slowly but surely, we've built up like a really big team, a really big kids team anyways. And they're obsessed with it, so like we've been able to like give it to these kids that probably never would have had it.
Mm-hmm.
And now like some of them are doing very well, competing and some of them, like just changing their life for the better, like it does for so many of us.
Yeah.
So many of
us. And so you were saying earlier that this was like a new school that you guys just opened. You said about a year, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of like in this coming October will make 2 years, so we're like a year and a half kind style.
All right, so how's that journey been?
Interesting, especially going from Maui to Idaho, and especially up on the mountain. So it's like 80 degrees every day where we were, and then it's gotten up to like minus 12 in the winter here. So like it's crazy. Like right now it's just snow, packed up in our backyard. It's a snowy, wintry Christmas vibes. It's super different than where we were. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of cool. My kids and my wife had never even really seen snow before. So it was just a big change, like polar opposites. But we're kind of the main reason we moved was, to open our own school and do jiu-jitsu like I said, at a place, where we could spread it a little more. Mm-hmm. And I was pretty far away from where my parents were. My mom and dad are starting to get to that age, so I'm just going to kind of like get a little closer for a little while and see where it goes from there.
Okay. Because that's a big jump from Hawaii to like Idaho.
It's a huge decision, it was a huge, crazy, sporadic decision. But I think really what it was, that sparked it was the pandemic. Because, when the pandemic hit Hawaii, those first 3 weeks, it was like people were freaking out. Like they had no idea what was going to come. And a lot of businesses, including Maui Jiu-Jitsu and my wife's business, they all got shut down. And we kind of thought there was not going to be any future. So we kind of made a decision to try to just go for it and maybe move to a town that where the businesses stay open a little. We kind of chose Idaho. And we were able to do that. We were able to come here and just get the business going right away. And now we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, because that's a pretty big risk of just dropping a jiu-jitsu gym in a town that's don't have much.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was a risk. It was a risk for sure. But it was kind of a dream, like when I started training, I was about 18 years old and I'm 41 now. And once I decided I was going to do it full time, like I'm obsessed with it. I want to figure out a way to do this for a living.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of just started mapping things out, and I would, for anyone listening that's taking jiu-jitsu real serious and you're younger, you will kind of want, that first chunk of time, like like 20 to 30 to be dedicated to you getting very good at your craft, learning, attending classes, seminars, competing, all of that, just being the student. And then, you know, about 10 years, you're going to be close to black belt. And so like, then you get to that higher belt and you still want to take it serious. You still want to make this your living. So now you need to take what you've learned and start kind of making it into your teaching style and focusing on teaching, becoming the best teacher you can be. And now 40 to 50 is where I actually put that all into a real business. Let's see if I can make this business that I've been working on for 20 years succeed. And then I enter that later stage in life. You have to almost let go of just being aggressive on the mats every day and entering every competition and start to turn that into coaching or teaching, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm at. You know, I still have a little bit of that fire in me, but I really, I'm looking towards the future. You know, what's it going to be like in 10 years? What's my jiu-jitsu going to be like when I'm 65? And that's a good goal to be able to train, be able to like get on the mat with my grandkids when I'm 65 and not be too broken. So that's kind of,
Yeah.
you know, that's where I'm thinking these days.
Yeah, like you start thinking about the longevity of it all, because it really clicked for me when I got my brown belt. Because I was always on the fence about where I wanted to go after, you know, I would say after black belt with jujitsu.
Yeah.
Because it was like, okay, do I want to compete for a while, like I've been trying to do? Do I want to maybe focus on getting my own program started, on school started? And it's just been like a roller coaster, man, because you know I love doing the podcast now because I've talked to so many fantastic people, but I love that teaching and I love that that training. So like you said, just trying to find that balance and then figure out like, okay, after we get XYZ, what's our next step?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of right in the middle of all that, because like I would love to open my own school, but it's not a need for me to,
Yeah.
because of how good everything is going at my school. But eventually we would love to expand and build our name some more. But
Like where are you guys located?
we're in Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. So we're not like flooded with jujitsu schools. I think I've seen the most maybe like 10. That's not
Yeah.
like too far out. So it's like, yeah, it wouldn't be too bad to open up a school here.
Yeah, it might be a good place. You know, I feel like I said, you know, you put a certain amount of time into, you know, you're helping your instructor and like building that knowledge, you know, with these guys. And then eventually when you become that senior belt, it's a good idea, I think, to think about the future, like you're saying, and then branching out and teaching more people jiu-jitsu really should be the focus, you know, because the more people that train and take it like serious, like we do, the better people we're going to be around in the world. Right. So
Right.
we all open up our own schools, there's going to be more people training jiu-jitsu. And that's one thing that kind of I've been very happy to be able to do here is like show people who is Royce Gracie, like where this came from, and like give them the passion that all of us have, you know, from just growing up and watching it all happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because even now, just our school is small, so but we've seen new faces come and go, and just the other day we were just talking about how like we remember when like everybody was like white belts,
Yeah.
and now we got new faces, but all our original people are at least bluing up, and it's just like, man, what happened with time, man? And then you see all these new hungry faces come in. They got that same, strong drive, but they're just younger bodies. And it
Yeah.
seems like everybody that walks in off the street are wrestlers. So it's
Yeah.
just like, oh my goodness.
We've got a lot of wrestlers here too. A lot of wrestlers here too.
Yeah.
It's interesting, you know, to the kids that wrestled, you know, they're very hardcore wrestling, and then they hadn't had a lot of experience with jiu-jitsu. So it's been fun and then like interesting to see them like learn how you can win from your back, you know.
Right. Or you get to see those people that they come in thinking strength is everything and just get swept and beat up by like the smallest person in the room.
Yeah. I've had that even at this academy. I've had a few incidences with people coming in and just almost like challenge match, like they don't believe it, you know.
Yeah,
They don't believe.
we haven't gotten that, like a person just coming, like, I guess you want to say dojo storming, but
Mhm.
we get people who come and be like, yeah, I heard about it, I wanted to try it out and see, and then they see it and it's like, oh, this is the real deal.
Yeah.
But you see those videos, a lot of people dojo storming and trying to, like, say that jujitsu doesn't work, and they always get beat up by like the smallest person in the room.
And I think there's a lot more than people think. Maybe it's not so much somebody like bursting in the door with yelling and like
Right.
calling somebody out, but more like taking the first class and just kind of playing the quiet guy and waiting for the time where it's spar. And like they're just gonna try to take everyone's head off or try to go with the instructor and take the guy's head off, that happens a lot more. You know what I mean?
It definitely does. Definitely does. Um, what was I about to ask? So opening, we know we talked about opening a school and like in a location, but what's been like I guess the hard, besides like moving to like a new location, what's been the hardest part for you about running your school?
My particular situation, it's a certain demographic, so it's a
Mm-hmm.
small town and it's far away from the bigger cities. So like we're isolated. And the kids program has been like absolutely amazing. Just like we're probably the top kids team in Idaho, competing right now already. And but the adult program is smaller than the kids program, and I feel like it's kind of hard to get some of the adults to just get in there and give it a try. You know what I mean? So like I would say that just getting adults to come in and try versus the kids has been a little bit of more of an issue for us. But I think it's the demographic, usually the kids program is bigger, than the adult program at most places.
Oh yeah.
But different towns, different people, you know what I mean? But like we've only had that, a year and a half open. So I'm hopeful that we're just going to blow it up with the adult program this year,
Yeah, I hope that happens. But I think it's like when it comes to like kids, you kind of need that kids class to like survive.
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, it's the bread and butter.
Mm-hmm.
It's the bread and butter. And then also, if you go to statistics of who is actually this year probably going to get in a fight, it's the kids.
It's the
You
kids.
know what I mean? It's the kids.
Yeah.
So like it actually applies more to the kids. Although of course, things happen. But school is a gnarly place, and you can just guarantee somebody's going to get in a fight. I mean, that's how it was at my school, and even here in this small town, it's the same thing everywhere.
Right.
It's like a jungle. High school, middle school is like a jungle. So those kids are ready. Need to be a little bit more ready, especially the quiet kids that might get picked on, that kind of a style of a kid. They need to be like training all the time. That's my philosophy. My daughter's just on the mat like 5-6 days a week. And people are telling me like, or they asking me, man, I wish my kids would train like your kids, people online all the time. I get that. I wish they wanted to train like your kids wanted to train. And I'm like, bro, my kids don't want to train. You know what I mean? You think they get up like me and they're like, we're going? Oh no, we have to have the argument, brother. We have to have the argument all the time. But there's certain things that are worth arguing. You gotta choose those battles. Because I always tell people, what do you tell them when they say they don't want to brush their teeth?
Go brush your teeth.
It happens, right? Like
It
you have to
happens.
make that happen. You don't just let them get away with that one, right? But
Yeah.
people will let their kids get away with not wanting to go to jiu-jitsu class, which to me is self-defense class, especially when you're a kid. And most of the reason is exercise. So like, that you have to run, you're going to have to do some push-ups, you're going to have to do some sparring, and it's a dread to think about that. But it's good for them to go, because when something does happen, especially if your kid's in like, a big city like yours, like public school there, you're going to see it. You're going to see fights. You're going to be around fights. And guess what? You might even be the one getting in a fight, having to protect yourself or someone else.
Yeah.
Probably more than all the adults in that class. You know what I mean? Because the kids,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, it's a jungle. Every day they got to get up and they got to go to that jungle. And when I was growing up, there was no jiu-jitsu school. There was
Right.
wrestling, which I really wish I would have done more of when I was younger. But, like jiu-jitsu, I think has the ability to like give these kids that maybe never would have gone out for the wrestling team that same kind of fire in the, in the fight, that same sort of ability to like, overcome somebody in a fight. And through going to class every day, you sparring every day with these kids, you start to realize what you can do. And then that confidence kind of like gives you a blanket of security to go to school and stuff like that.
Yeah. And just like with my daughter, she be eager to go to classes. Like she'll she'll ask me like, tomorrow's Tuesday. Are we going to class tomorrow? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll go. Or she'll have those days where she's like, I'm not going. And I'm like,
Yeah.
why not? I just don't feel like it. Oh, that sucks. Go get dressed. Let's go.
Yeah.
And she go get dressed and we go to class.
It's happened. Yeah. It's just, there's some battles. Like I say, you don't have to compete if you don't want to compete. I'm not going to make you compete. I'll
Right.
encourage it. But if you decide you don't want to compete, you don't have to. But I need you to like get to 18 and you've been training since you were a kid. And then when you're that age, you're going to do what you want anyways.
Right.
You're going to do whatever you want anyways. I just need you to get these skills. So like, I know I gave that to you.
At least something,
I gave you that skill. Yeah.
Definitely. So, do you still compete or you just focus more on training now? I mean, teaching now.
Right now, I think more just focusing on the academy and teaching.
Mm-hmm.
I did a fight to win at the beginning or in 2022. Yeah, at the end of 2022, I did a fight to win. But it's been a while now since I've competed. And yeah, I'm kind of like, it's so different over here because like I don't have like maybe one purple belt to train with, everybody's brand new to jiu-jitsu. And where I was at, I was training with 10 black belts every day. You know what I mean? So like,
yeah,
it was just a little bit of a different thing. So I think I'm going to need to like map out a tournament and then either, make those trips to Boise to train with those guys over there or fly somebody out from Hawaii, maybe to just stay with me for a month. So I have like a couple high level sparring partners. If I'm going to enter something, that's, and then at the same time, soon, within the next 5 years, I'm going to zone it out. I'm going to phase it out to like not competing much anymore at all, maybe every once in a while. But yeah, my body's been through a lot competing and training so hard and with all the MMA fighters and just so many hard rounds. It's been through a lot. So like right now I have like, like an Achilles thing going on. I have a knee thing going on. I have a shoulder thing going on. And I'm still on the mat trying to give rounds to the guys. And it's just turning 40 is different. I never had any problem getting over an injury or anything in my 30s, So, but now that I'm hitting 40, it's just in my face all the time because I'm still trying to push like I used to. I'm on the mat every day. And then it's hard to say no to people when they want to roll. Rolling with spazzy white belts like nonstop now. Whereas before I didn't own the school. I was a head instructor, but I would just make this guy go train with this guy. You know what I mean? It wasn't like my student. So like now I have to roll with everybody. I need everybody to know that yes, if you want to roll with me, I will. And that there's spazzy white belts that will accidentally land on you or accidentally elbow you in the face or whatever it is,
Yeah.
Those are a lot of my rounds these days, like
you try to avoid getting beat up so much, but it's like it's gonna happen now.
Yeah.
Like I can't tell them like, go roll with XYZ because they don't know.
Yeah, I get excited to work on something, like a little more advanced, and then I get to class and realize that there's not any time to work on anything advanced. You know what I mean? Like we need to learn the basics for a while.
Right.
And that's okay because, I had my time to, where I, took advantage of every class, just training my ass off and only with the best guys in the room and selfish training. I had that time. And now it's time for me to build some people up and take the coach's role.
Yeah, that's how it's been for us too, because we've been so used to the small faithful few that we had in class, So now that we got all these new white belts, we kind of had to like take a few big steps back and kind of get them, onto the basics. So it's been kind of like we'll work a technique and everyone who knows, and everybody's sitting around like, well, when y'all go over this, it's like, oh yeah, so you're new, so we got to go back. So yeah, it's been fun, man. It's been like a journey. Yeah, definitely been a journey. For
it's
sure.
good to be able to split them into different classes, obviously, right now I feel like every class should be a white belt type class. So I don't really need to split them up, but eventually I can have a intermediate level or an advanced class where we know I don't need to teach these guys how to escape the mount. I don't need to teach these guys, the very basics. I can but I have to build up the team a little bit more first,
Gotcha. Yeah, of course. Because we do like 6:30. We'll do like a basics class. Basically going over, I guess, breaking down what we're going to be going over in our, I guess you want to say, adults class. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of drilling, a lot of repping, and then we go into our class where we'll take what we've been doing in the first class and actually, fine tune it.
Go over
If
the
you will.
details.
Yeah, go over the details and then go from there.
Yeah.
But and like you said, it's
Yeah.
definitely been a journey. Definitely been a big journey.
Yeah. I feel like the best competition teams, the ones that do just very well, the whole team is the coach is not competing anymore. Like if you think like the Mendez brothers have like probably the top kids team,
Yeah,
they don't compete anymore. They focused on those kids learning. You know what I mean? They're focused on same with like Eddie Bravo. He doesn't compete anymore. He's just focused on teaching those guys every little thing. And same with Donaher, right? So like it's interesting. Those top teams that really shine, the students shine in the competition. The coach is not thinking about him competing at all. He's 100% focused on them competing, which is, I think, what you need to get to that high level is you can't have a teacher that's thinking about his moves and like what he needs to do for his competition and what's best for his game. The whole teaching, the whole class has to be about getting the skill acquisition. You know what I mean? Getting those kids better, getting those adults better. And those are the teams that seem to shine,
Oh yeah, of course. Because you look at people like Eddie Bravo and and all those high level guys that's pumping out these superstars. It's
Yeah.
because they're taking. It's like they're getting a restart in life, if you will.
Yeah.
Because they're taking all this knowledge that they've been having on their body and they're putting it into a fresh young body.
Yeah. And
So
they're
that
at the
person-
age, man, where they have to. Like if if they could go back, they'd probably go back. But things are just starting to kind of like break down. And then you start thinking about, man, if it hurts now, if I've already had 3 surgeries from jiu-jitsu and I'm 45, what's it going to be like if I keep going? You know what I mean? So that's what you have to do is start paying it forward and getting fired up to pay it forward, redirecting that ego into somebody else winning. You like you said, because the ego doesn't really go away. You just find new ways to redirect it. You know what I mean? And then there's healthy ways to redirect it and on non-healthy ways, obviously, but that's, I think once you accept that, like, you'll always have something to like be excited about in jiu-jitsu, going to class every day, but you gotta eventually, have that excitement about helping someone else, and watching their progression.
Oh yeah. And I'll have those moments a lot too. Like I'll, body banged up, everything hurts, and I got a white belt. It's like, hey, can we work what we did last week in class? It's like, what did we do last week? Oh shit. All right, come on, man.
That's universal, right? That's happening all over the place.
It's always like omoplata or some crazy movement where they want to rep and work. I'm like, oh man, like out of all days today, you want to do that stuff.
Yeah.
But this is what you signed up for,
Yeah.
This is what you signed up for.
Yeah, it's interesting teaching for sure. This place over here too, it's like a completely different type of town, from the island life. The island life, I had like a student, they would bring me fresh fish, fresh avocado, fresh like mangoes, right? And now I got my moose guy. So like I got a guy over here bringing me elk, bringing me moose. Like I've never even eaten this stuff before, and I started eating like wild game since I've been living here. I had deer before, and fish, but like I never had moose, I never had bear, I never had elk. And these guys over here, man, they're just like hunting aficionados, big time, like meat eating. Like these guys are just bringing me. I've been eating moose all month, bro. Most amazing food I've ever had. I don't know if you.
Yeah, I've had moose and elk and deer before.
Yeah, these guys, this is high level moose over here, bro. High level.
Said grade A moose over here in Idaho.
Black belt level moose, bro. It's just funny, everybody's friendly and everybody's happy about the jiu-jitsu, and they wanna hook the coach up. And it's just like
Right.
you go to different places and you get different things,
That's awesome though. That's so awesome. So
Yeah.
awesome. So you say your kids they train. How old are your kids?
7 and 11, both girls. Yeah, and they started training in Hawaii before we left, obviously, and they both been training since they were 4. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they were doing really good. They're doing really good. My oldest one is like kind of coming out of her shell competition wise and aggression, finally having a little aggression on the mat, which she lacked that,
Mm-hmm.
One of those kids, a little shy, a little weaker than the rest of the kids, a little less coordinated than the rest of the kids. And then her dad's the coach, you know what I mean? So like, it was always a battle for her,
Mm-hmm.
and she just never gave up. And through a lot of hard work, and a lot of like trying, like all of a sudden, like the last tournament, she like had 5 submissions. I'm like, what?
Oh, nice.
How did that happen? I couldn't believe it, because you kind of like the ones before she got beat pretty bad, and like, it was like, dang, man, we got to go back and work on this. And then on the last one, like out of nowhere, it's like it all clicked. All these years of the reps and the strength training and the training hard in class, it just like clicked for her on the competition. And she had like 5 kids, I couldn't believe it.
That's dope.
Yeah, she was so happy too, bro. Like I never seen her so stoked. It was just like amazing to see her daughters. And then my little one, she's like kicks everybody's butt. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Naturally. And then she can like just do crazy amounts of push-ups naturally. And the older one have a hard time with one push-up. I'm like, how do you get this gift? She got her mom's genes or something. And so I'm always like, come on, I know, it's not as big a deal when she wins.
Right. It's like
I'm just so used to
we
seeing
know.
it. Yeah. I'm just like, yeah, we know. I have to humble her. The other one, I'm like jumping up and down. We're going to Sizzler. We're going to the toy store. Whatever you want to get.
Racking it up.
Yeah. But it's been pretty amazing because in Maui, they were a part of the kids team with all my friends and my instructor, but this huge, gigantic team. And I wasn't the kids instructor. I taught different classes. And now I'm just like the full-time instructor for them, So like we've gotten all this bonding going on over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
All through jiu-jitsu. I mean, because it's our job, and then I don't have babysitters over here. So like they have to come with us. Even if they didn't want to train, they have to come with us. So they get off school and then, they eat a little snack, and then we got to go teach the little kids class, and they come with us, and then after the little kids class is their class. And then, we take them home, and then we come back for the adult class or whatever. One of us does. And they just have to do that. So for the last 2 years, it's been this jiu-jitsu routine that they have to show up, and then when we compete, we train extra hard, and they've just been kind of like growing into their selves as fighters, as jiu-jitsu players.
Yeah, because I've told the story a million and one times at this point, but yeah, my daughter, she started training a few months ago, and she, like I said, she likes it, she enjoys it, and especially she gets to spend time with her daddy, so she's always gung-ho about that. But she showed a little interest in competing because I took with me when I did a tournament last year.
Mm-hmm.
And she just saw all these kids run around with their gis, and she's looking at me like, "Did you bring my gi?" I was like, "No, I didn't bring it." She's like, "Why didn't you?" I'm like, "Well, you're not competing." She's like, "Well, I want to." I was like,
"That's awesome, man. That's awesome."
I was like, "Yeah, we gotta get you like
get a
serious about
little
it.
program going."
Yeah. But that's the thing, because our we're not a competition school, so it's just her. It's just her who, I guess you want to say, quote unquote, has an interest in competing. So it's like, how do I train one kid?
You never know. I think if you just put that out there, like me and my daughter, we're going to do this competition. And if any of you guys are interested in trying one, let's talk about it, and we'll put together a little competition class for this one tournament, because I guarantee you somebody else wants to, you know.
Yeah.
And like Hoyler said, right? Hoyler said everybody should compete once. So
Mhm.
like, and that's coming from, you know, pretty close to the source, right? So
Yeah,
like,
that's straight from the tap right there.
yeah. So and I like that. Everybody should compete once. You don't have to compete more than once. You don't even have to compete. But the real reason people, kids, anyone don't want to compete, the real reason is because it's scary.
It is.
That's the
It
only
is.
reason. Because if they knew for a fact they were going to win, all right, let's do it. Let's go. You know what I
Hands
mean?
down.
Like,
I would.
if it's a
Hands
fact,
down.
somehow they knew, you know. But it's the scary part. So like being able to just at least once in your life accept that there's going to be this scary moment on Saturday. Here it comes, and I did it. I stepped up and I felt that feeling, and I went out there and did it anyways. I think kind of that's what he means by everybody should do it. Especially regarding a physical confrontation with another person, you know.
Right.
It's a good idea, you know. It's not necessary, you know. It shouldn't deter anybody from training. If they should never feel like they have to compete.
Right.
But it's good to have a little something to like train for, you know. It really is. You get in good shape, you build up these strategies, and you bond with the coaches and the other competitors. There's all kinds of good stuff about it. I think being hard on yourself because you lost, you know, which is something Hedron kind of talked to me about one time, is like, it's really like if you compete and then because you lost, that person quits, that's what sucks. You know what I mean? Like that's why you don't have to compete really, is the fact that it might ruin jiu-jitsu for you. Right.
Mhm.
So like, we don't want to ruin jiu-jitsu for you. Right. So we have to
Right.
make sure that competition is awesome. Either way, if we train really hard, we know we'll be okay out there. We'll be able to have an okay match. So we
Right.
do that. And then we have a little fun dinner afterwards. Everybody's happy. Make it a fun thing. And I think, you know, it's healthy for the kids to do one. You'd be surprised, you know, like for me too, my instructor, he has a competition team over there for sure, but he came from the roots of self-defense only, you know, so he's always kind of preached that, not pushing the competition too much on people. But with those kids, man, like it's so fun for them to put the gi on, like you said, with all the other kids from around the town that they don't know. And then like somebody's going to get the medal. It's fun. Right.
Yeah.
All the other sports, they do a competition, you know, they do a game and somebody gets a trophy or whatever. It's good. It's good for the kids.
Definitely. And it's just, you know, as you said, as kids, you know, they don't want to lose. They don't want to feel like, you know, they let their coach or their parents down.
Yeah.
And you know, cause she, you know, she was so eager about it. But when she came to the one I did in January, a kid won by a rear neck choke. And she saw a kid get choked out. And she was just like, what? I was like, what's wrong? She's like, she choked him. I was like, that's jujitsu.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what you're gonna do.
Right, that's what you're going to do, or it's going to get done to you. And she's like, well, I don't want nobody to choke me. I was like, well, you kind of don't have a choice in some cases. Like it just
I
happens,
think, you
but
know,
it's part
like
of the
you just
game.
gotta tap, you know, you just gotta tap, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's the craziest thing about it, is you can always tap, you know.
Yeah.
People don't want to tap though, right? So like that's where it gets weird.
Because even when me and her roll, you know, be playing around, you know, I'll lock up a submission and she'd be like, you know, let me go. I'm like, no, I'm not letting you go. You know what to do.
How old
So
is your daughter?
she's 7.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, we've been kind of like, she's been kind of showing like a lot of more serious interest in jujitsu, because, you know, she'll ask me about what we've been, you know, what we going over in class, or uh she'll come to me after class, after adults class. She said, Dad, you know, I want to practice that, I want to practice a move too. So it's like, all right, well, let's come
So
on.
good. Yeah.
So yeah. So
It's just the fact that it's in her life, you know. 7 is young. My daughter's 7 too, and she has moments where, you know, like she needs to probably like just relax and not go so hard, you know, and feel the pressure. So I'm always trying to be conscious of that. 7 is still young, but at the same time, it's like, this is just who the family is. So like,
yeah,
your sister trains, your dad, your mom are the teachers. Like, this is just your life. You know what I mean?
same here. You know, I'm assistant instructor. My wife, she's a 4th-stripe white belt.
Oh, that's amazing.
So and then we have our 3-year-old, I mean, our daughter who just turned 3. So when she gets a little bit older, she'll be on the mats too. And any future kids that we have is going to be, this is kind of like the lineage now.
Good, man. It's good. It's so good. Martial arts is a good thing to have in a kid's life. Everybody knows that. So
Yeah, definitely. Because it teaches them so much more than you can say in words. It teaches them a lot about themselves, about the stuff that they can overcome because they have that experience when it comes to martial arts. So they know that if they can do something as strenuous martial arts and achieve something, everything else is going to be easy for them.
Yeah. The role model. There's a lot of good role models too. So many good role models and people to look up for in martial arts in general.
Yeah. So what's been like, since you being an instructor, a dad, and a husband, like, how has that been for you to like separate the three when it comes to like jujitsu?
I don't know that it gets. I mean, obviously, the wife and I will try to have time alone, or like get a babysitter and try to just take a little vacation where we're not training or something like that. But I feel like with my wife, anyways, like she's so right there with me with the passion for jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
Then also it's our business, so she's like passionate about growing the business and training herself and all that. We're really always like happy to be on the mat. So like if we have a roll together, it's almost like something special. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And before it wasn't like that because we've been together 20 years.
Okay.
But she's only been training 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So and then like I tried to get her to train a lot before. She never had any interest in training. And then 5 years ago she got way interested in training, and now it's like she's in 5 years, so she's obsessed with it, and it's really good. And I probably need to keep finding time to do other things with my kids other than jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
because it's my job. I mean, it's how we pay the bills, so it's an everyday thing. So I try when I can to make sure that she just gets to do something, even if it's with a friend that doesn't do jiu-jitsu, or if we do something other than jiu-jitsu, but it is a pretty big, huge thing in the family, and it's like all we do every day.
Yeah. Because it's funny because like I went to a parent teacher conference the other day, and I had on my jiu-jitsu hoodie, and the teacher was like, also, she saw the hoodie, so she's like, "Oh yeah, Lemire told me you train and teach jujitsu and blah blah blah." And I was like, "Yeah, I do." And she's like, "Yeah, because that's all she talks about." It's jujitsu and how her dad's trained and how her dad's this, and
it's a cool
she does
subject,
it.
right?
Yeah,
it's a cool subject for a kid to talk about. That's what I get to. All the kids that train, they're like, the teachers just come. I say that's all they talk about in school, and I'm like, yeah. That's awesome.
Like, yeah, I'm the cool dad.
It's better than talking about. It's just better than talking about freaking TikTok or whatever else they're talking about.
True.
This is a good subject. I mean, yeah, they need to pay attention or whatever, sure, but like, it's a good subject for them all to be talking about.
Yeah, definitely. But so yeah, that's kind of it. But I usually ask everyone this question now, since I got you here. Being in your rank, you probably roll with a lot of people, a lot of high rank people. But who's your main three top roles that you would like to roll with? Like the top three people you would like to roll with.
But I've never been able to roll with them.
Never been able to roll with.
Khabib.
Yeah.
That'll be one. Wow, that's a good question. Khabib would be one. I know that. I think maybe Charles Oliveira. And like Gordon Ryan, probably. I mean, it's hard to put it into three, but like those are all people that are kind of currently still like on the top of their prime, It'd be awesome to roll with Royce. I never got to roll with Royce, you know what I mean? So it's like it's hard for me to pick three, but as far as the active young ones, yeah, I would love to be able to like roll with the best guy in the world, Gordon, or Charles Oliveira, probably like the best MMA jiu-jitsu guy, and then Khabib, that wrestling.
I
want to feel that. Like it's supposed to be pretty amazing, that kind of Dagestani pressure.
Isn't that crazy?
I love to play guard, so just to feel somebody capture me and like be able to, get past the guard, you know, like
Yeah.
it's always interesting to me because I'm always in search of a way to not let it happen. So like when somebody can just make it happen, it's like it's always interesting, you know, to see that.
It's crazy how we want to feel that pressure that everyone felt in UFC. Like, I want to see what that's like to be, you know.
Well, even just hit the footage of him rolling, right? Like there's footage of him just doing jiu-jitsu. Yeah, and it's like, man, that's crazy how he can put that guy there, and the guy, you know, I just want to feel that.
Especially like someone like, you know, the video of him rolling with Daniel Cormier.
Yeah.
It's like this dude got weight over you, strength over you, and you're just controlling him. It's like,
now that's one guy I don't want to roll with is Cormier. See, I think I'm done rolling with 300 pounders.
Those days are over.
Those days are over because I did it before. I know what it feels like. My body doesn't need to practice that anymore.
Yeah.
Like, hopefully I don't have to ever use that.
But unfortunately with me, I'm stuck with that because our teacher's a big guy. He's, you know, he's 6 something, he's 300 some pounds.
Oh my God.
We got a lot of big guys in school, and like the 2 biggest guys in school are, you know, they used to wrestle and the MMA fighters. So it's like rolling with them, it's just like, oh God, man.
Yeah. You have to tell them in the middle of the match, hey, dude, roll over real quick. You know? Let me go on top, brother.
Like slow it down, man. I gotta go to work tomorrow.
You're not getting any better on the bottom, bro. You need to work your bottom game. That's what you
I know, right? Like you always on top. Let's switch.
You need to work your guard, bro. I'm telling you. That's
right. Like, come on, man. Let's work something else, man. You always got me in side control. Do better. Let's try somewhere else.
Yeah.
But man, do you have any questions for me? Other than that, man, I would like you to shout out your school. If you got anything going, coming up, going forward, man, the floor is all yours.
Yeah, if anyone's out there listening and you ever make it to Haley, Idaho, which is a great place to go snowboarding or skiing if you're into that, like a great resort. Come train, Jiu Jitsu 100. Love to have you. If you're interested in any of my instructionals, which I have like maybe 13 different instructionals on Bjj Fanatics, you just type in my name, Bjj Fanatics. My Instagram, my name, Joel Bouhey. My YouTube is my name, Joel Bouhey. And yeah, Lamar, thanks so much for having me, brother. I appreciate that. I never had any kind of a connection with any jiu-jitsu person in Detroit, and now I do.
Now you do, man. Yeah. Now you do. So if you ever in the area or vice versa, man, we can definitely hit the mats together for sure.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, that's the end of today's episode. I would like to thank Joel once again for coming on and blessing us with his knowledge and wealth of jiu-jitsu. Hope you guys learned and took something from our tales and experiences. Please go and follow our Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube pages to stay up to date on all future episodes. This has been Talk Your Jits podcast. Keep rolling, keep grinding, and remember, long live jiu-jitsu. Have a great day.
Thanks, Lamar.
Yeah, sir. Thank you.